And welcome back to Jackson Shortline. Sorry I haven't made a video in a while. I have no excuse. So for this line, I am doing the whole Indiana Railroad line and being as accurate as I can. I use just about everything, and I hope you enjoy the video. And you'll notice that only two of these engines are actually like the Indiana Railroad. But I'll explain how each engine fits into the Indiana Railroad. So the Indiana Railroad actually has two main lines and is a regional railroad. It's made up of 355 miles or somewhere around there, and its lines are from Indianapolis to Effingham, or a city close to Effingham. I'm having brain fart and can't figure it out which city that is. And the other one goes from a military plant, which I also can't remember the name of, to Terre Haute. And I did my best to make this line look as accurate as possible. So let's get started. Here is where the two lines intersect, and I put some signals around the diamond, the old diamond, to add in the realism. This line, the Indianapolis to Effingham, it was the ex-Elmley Central, and this line is the old Milwaukee Road, and you'll see there's a train going on the Milwaukee tracks. And let's start off with the Indianapolis line. So we go past here and go directly across the Tulip Trestle. This represents the Tulip Trestle, this one big bridge. And so we go into the Indianapolis area, and we skip Bloomington. Sorry, Bloomington. And here we have a boxcar customer and a power plant. That power plant doesn't exist anymore. So sad. But in this world, in my world, it does exist. In a perfect world. And here is where it enters into Indianapolis. Right here, the switch that doesn't go anywhere is its connection to CSX, the first one. In importance, it is the second one. The switch that does go somewhere, that's a grain customer along the way to the CSX intersection, or just after. And over here, we have the yard. Here, the Indiana Railroad, the 3 o'clock train is ready. And on the 3 o'clock train, they like to store the train in an elevated track that goes further than all the others. And so that train is getting ready to leave. And these are the two engines that are like Indiana Railroad, the only two. And actually, if we're regional railroad, you're wondering why there's intermodal, and if this is going to be realistic. The Indiana Railroad actually has a deal in Indianapolis. Sorry, I got in the once. The Indiana Railroad has an intermodal customer in Indianapolis that it intersects with Canadian National in Effingham. And that's where that train is heading, and that eventually makes its way to the Pacific, and that it makes its way to Japan, and that's where all that intermodal is coming from. And so here's the Indianapolis yard. That's where they load the intermodal. Right here, this track is a grain customer, and the other one is a tank car customer. Ethanol, fuel, whatever. And here are the two storage tracks, and there's an engine on the other one. This is a GM&O train. The reason why this fits in is one, it looks like a lot like an Indiana Road GP38, and it's a engine from the old Illinois Central, a railroad that Illinois Central bought. So they got two of these engines, Indiana Railroad. I tried to get as much engines on this track as possible because I knew I wouldn't have enough. So that's the Indiana Railroad yard. So the way that train is going to go is that it's going to go here, where it has a siding just before it, and then crossings. And here it's going to have the Palestine yard, where the Illinois Central local that switches in the yard is right outside of it. It goes under the couch, and actually isn't much. Only 3 lines, and one of them is the main line. And actually, that's the only thing inside the yard. But there'll be more. And over here we have a huge ethanol plant that is actually somewhere around here. It is actually west of Palestine Yard, but I can't do everything. And over here, we have a grain customer just before. Right about here, this is actually a Canadian National tracks, but for now, this is Indiana Railroad tracks. Just for my world. And in here, that's its connection with Indiana Railroad and Canadian National. Here is the Canadian National ex Illinois Central main line of Mid-America. The middle track is the main line. It extends further and then goes there. The Indiana Road uses that line to back up and then exchange in the yard. And then it goes back all the way to Indianapolis. They do that same thing over and 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 over again. And here we have Indiana Railroad's most important yard, but actually I'm pretty the Indianapolis yard is the biggest. But because this yard, Jasonville yard, is the biggest, it is in the central. Sorry, it's its most important, and that's why it stores its engines there until they are to be used. And the reason why these engines are here on the track and how they make sense is because the Santa Fe, which you have big questions about. The Indiana Railroad owner liked the railroad Santa Fe, so he thought, why not just paint one of their SD90s like it? And I know these are supposed to represent C-44s, but Indiana Railroad only has SD90s, GP38s, and SD40s. We're still trying to figure out how to make an SD40. But we have an idea. And the Illinois Central owned part of these tracks, and so they got a couple engines from it. And here we have a coal train leaving Jasonville and heading down the Milwaukee branch, the end of the Milwaukee Road line. Here we have the engine facility in Jasonville. And here this line goes to a coal plant, not a circle. I actually Googled Earthed it. This is what it looks like. And here the train is going over. And more GM&O engines, and then we have Milwaukee. These are passenger type GP38s that can also be used that are actually still well used for freight, but people had the idea that they should use these for passenger. But here they use them for freight, and the reason why the Milwaukee fits in here is because part of this track was owned by the Milwaukee. There's another Milwaukee engine here in Terre Haute, but I'll get to that. Here we have a coal spur that goes around the table, the chest table. And here it goes over a small creek or a river, whichever one you want it to be. It's my world. That I'll share it to you. Here, the crossing. And here we have the final coal yard. And here it enters a military plant where they actually make bombs. Sorry if this is classified information. My dad told it to me. Probably not. So this video may get it may be unauthorized for production. So here they actually make bombs here, and so I thought the tank cars, and box cars would be the three things to be inside here that would make the most sense. And as you can see, no engines are in here because it's a military plant. One branch left of the Indiana Road is the Terre Haute branch, which is up here. The main line is actually much bigger than that, and not just two small pieces of track. And then it splits into two. Entering Terre Haute. And so here it goes into the Terre Haute yard, which the Milwaukee regular GP38 is sitting around. Only one car, not very lazy day. Here there's a grain customer nearby, which has cars in it. Here there's a huge boxcar customer. Not really huge, but big. It's really big on Google Earth. If you go to the Terre Haute Indiana Road yard, like a mile north of it, there's this huge boxcar customer. I don't know what it is, but I had a lot of boxcars, so I just used boxcars for it. And here is its main connection with CSX. This is the first. And this line goes to a grain customer, and over here it goes into another grain customer and a tank car customer. That's not being very used at the moment. So that's the whole line. Sorry I had to use 12 minutes, but you could just walk off now, not hear me saying thank you. So yeah. Bye.